Am I recording now? Am I recording? Looks like we're doing pretty good right now. Okay. Hey everybody, how's it going? So, what was it last week? What was last week? The 12th. Last Wednesday, October 12th, 2016, we had a men's dinner because our parent church was having a women's conference, and all the women and all that were going to the women's conference and getting together. But Wednesday night, one of the nights during the week where they were having the women's conference, we had a men's dinner. And during the men's dinner, it was morely the aspect of kind of what I want this and what me and brother Coco. Hey, say hi, Coco. He's on his phone. It's okay. But this is kind of the preference or not the preference, but the surrounding, I guess, idea of what we would want this channel to become and the basis that we are and how we want things to be. And so, the title of the sermon that was preached, at the men's dinner was called "A Few Good Men." And it's morely about being a man is more than just saying that you are. Being a man is saying, "Oh, I'm a man," right? When you're a man, there's more than just saying that you're a man. My parents told me, "You're a man once you have your own family and you take care of them." And so, I mean, kind of makes sense now. But a man of God, being around this basis, being a man of God, is being a man of prayer and having an intimate relationship with God. So you got to have that intimate relationship, and all that. But before I get more into that, I'm going to read out of Ezekiel 22, verse 30 right quick. This was really more the basis around the sermon that was given. And it reads, "And I sought for a man among them that should make up the hedge and stand in the gap before me for the land, and I should not destroy it. But I found none." Saying, really, there needs to be someone that stands the gap, and there's no one that's doing it as a man, and being prepared to be a man and going into the world and trying to get a family going. I mean, you're gonna see someone or do something, and you got to stand in the gap. That if you say your kid or someone that you know is going through some things at school, or they're getting in trouble, but you stand in the gap, you kind of get between the teacher and that person, and you kind of defend them. I mean, that's what we're supposed to do for our families, and kind of being that middle ground. But again, a man of God is being a man of prayer and having an intimate relationship with God. And there's a few steps into that, and how the preacher took it, how he gave it, and there's a few things that go into it. One of them is be a man, just flat out. You gotta be a man. You gotta take care of your family. You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta be a man. There's a few things that go into that, but you gotta take responsibility like a man. Currently at my job, we were reading this video, or not reading this. We were reading a video called Extreme Ownership. It's actually a book called Extreme Ownership, and really the basis around that was, you obviously take responsibility of what you've done, and not letting your ego get in the way, or whatever you think should be going on, but having a set plan, and if that plan fails, accepting that plan and taking responsibility and trying to figure out how to fix that. What are you doing? This guy right here, dancing. You have anything to say? Well, other than that, come get closer. Get closer. Get closer. This is gonna be a weird video, I swear. So let's move the mic kind of in between you and me. There's gonna be a lot of mic noises. Okay. Come closer. So, what does being a man of God mean to you?
Loving God, letting Him fight your battles, and just loving Him.
Just loving Him. Okay. It's funny because there's another point to being a man of God where it is you got to work like a man, and the real work, being a man of God, our real work is on our hands or knees. Is on our hands and knees, fighting that battle. It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
See, like, you got to have that relationship. You got to be doing that one thing or doing those certain things to get that relationship going, right?
Right.
Okay. So there's another part of this, and it says go deeper with God. So go so deep with God that He takes control. The analogy that Pastor Leon gave was God is like a river, and you step in it, but you still have control. So you're down to your ankles, and you still have control. You go a little bit deeper. You go to your knees. You're kind of fighting it, but once you go chest and shoulder deep, the river takes control.
Oh,
that's crazy, yeah. So you got to go so deep that God takes control, and you allow God to have control of your life and to be able to do those things for Him. Let's see if I could turn this up a little bit. Hopefully that's catching me a little bit more microphone noises. Oh, that was really loud. That's okay. I'll try to turn that down a bit. Probably not, but yeah. And so you got to be directed by the living water. So like when you're in that river, if the current's going to the left, are you going to go right? You're going to go to the left, right? You got to go wherever the water is going to take you.
Yep.
And that's kind of how we have to be with God, and we got to do as God wants. So if He wants you to go over there, are you going to go over here, or are you going to go over there?
Over there.
So, I mean, being a man of God, we have to listen to God, right?
Yep.
And how does God speak to us? Where do we get that relationship with God? So where He starts to speak to us?
It's still small voice.
Still small voice. But we hear Him through prayer. We gotta have that relationship so we can hear that still small voice, right?
Yep. And He wants to talk to you all the time. God loves talking.
So do you.
I love talking too. I think that's why. You know why we like talking? Because we're preachers. Preachers talk.
Yeah, that's true. I guess I can get that.
Preachers meant to talk. Paul, Moses, Jeremiah,
Jesus.
Most of the prophets, they talk because they're preachers.
I would like to have a conversation with like either Jesus or Paul. I feel like that conversation would be like really interesting.
Oh, why did you get married? I'm kidding. You probably say, see these girls nowadays? That's why.
Right? Yeah, that's crazy. But going back to Ezekiel 22, verse 30, saying that God was looking for someone to stand in the gap, but saw no one. You have to be willing to stand in the gap.
He said you gotta be willing and obedient.
Okay, but it's not going to be easy.
Serving God is easy. We make it hard.
Well, I mean, I think in an essence, society makes it hard, and in essence, we think it's us that makes it hard. But there's going to be some sacrifices that we have to make in order to get to God. We have to get rid of everything that's in the way.
Okay, take that. How hard is it for you to cross the street?
Not that hard.
So why would you make it? When you have the opportunity to cross the street, what do?
Cross the street?
You look both ways, right?
Yeah.
Make sure nothing's coming.
Uh-huh.
When it's clear, you cross. How hard is that?
Not that hard.
So why we make serving God hard?
That's good. That's a good point. That's a real good point.
Like a football player, a running back.
Mm-hmm.
His goal is to do what? Score a touchdown.
Right.
How hard is it for him to do that?
Depending on the defense, pretty hard.
But if you got blockers in the way and you follow your blockers, what's going to happen?
You're going to score.
You're going to get more yardage.
Yeah.
So Jesus, check this out. Jesus is your blocker. So you run behind him, you score a touchdown. How hard is that? But if you go on your own to another route, what's going to happen? You're going to get tackled. You get hurt. So when you leave God, you get hurt.
Okay, so, and I'm thinking of it now, like how it says that the path to God is a straight and narrow path. I mean, there's going to be obstacles, of course. So in essence, when you're following your blockers, when you're following Jesus, he's kind of protecting you. But if you kind of steer away, you get... Okay, I get that.
Sorry, I'm speaking Coco language.
That's fine. Not so many people are going to be like me, extremely literal. I don't get why. I'm so young, but I'm really at it like that. But then he took us to... So, kind of going back, let me get into a little bit of scripture real quick. In Isaiah 64 and verse 7, it reads, "And there was none that calleth upon my name, that stirreth up himself, and take hold of thee. For thou hast hid thy face from us, and hast consumed us because of our iniquities." So, honestly, I don't really remember why he took us there.
Look at this. Do you know 9 times out of 10, we listen more to our doctors than God?
True.
God will tell you, don't smoke. You like, I can't. It's too hard. I can't do it. But a doctor tell you, if you don't stop, you're going to get cancer. You throw everything that like a butt in the trash can.
You know, that sounds a lot like us. Ever notice that? I usually tell you something that's typically right. I'm always telling you something that's right. Or my brother, I always say something, and then you guys never listen, and then you hear it from like 14 different people. Oh, maybe you're right. Yeah. 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 You should have listened to me in the first place. I don't know. I think that's how God is. Like, I know I'm kind of iffy about that kind of stuff. I know I'm like, well, I mean, I told you in the first place, like me to listen. Huh.
But you know, God's not talking to you. You're doing right. God only talks to you when you straying away. You know when you're a kid and your parents tell you, if you don't say anything, that means you're doing right. The only way they correct you is when you going off track.
Okay.
And they put you back on. That's what God does.
Okay. So if God's putting us on track, or if we're feeling like we're doing right, but then we're doing wrong, have you ever I know it's funny, there's a Medea movie, or Medea saying, where she says, when God wakes you up in the middle of the night, or when you wake up in the middle of the night, there's something that needs to be done, right? So, like, why do we wake up in the middle of the night and not wonder why God woke us up?
Because sometimes we think we gotta go to the bathroom.
Okay, but why can't we ask? So, I guess that's where my point is being a man of God and becoming a man of God. When those things happen and having the relationship with God, how come? And I want to get to the point where I personally, when I wake up in the middle of the night, I want to ask God, why did you wake me up? Who needs prayer? What do I need to do? What needs to get done? Let's go.
Gotta be honest.
What's up?
We make serving God hard. We really do.
True.
He said, look at it. God put all this stuff before us. He gave us Jesus. He gave us his word. You follow that, how can you get lost? How can it be hard?
Confusion, I would say. You let too many things of the outside world kind of cloud your thoughts. In essence, we don't really have on our spiritual armor, the helmet of what is the helmet of righteousness, right? Yeah. Why did I not know that? Why did I question that? That sucks.
And then a coach on a football team tell a player, I want you to make this shot. And you're thinking, I'm going to pass. But then you lose. What happens? You lose because you didn't do what the coach told you. And God tells us, don't do this, but we do our own thing. And then we wonder why it don't work.
Yeah. Okay. So then when you don't listen to the coach and you want to like perfect that play, do you not like lose sleep over that? Like, do you not stay up longer or work harder to get to that? So then how come? So where I'm going is, and this was one of the quotes, one of the lines. Being a man of God is going to cost us sleep.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, why is it so easy for us to, I don't have time in the day. I don't have enough time to pray, but I'm going to watch 4 hours of this TV show.
Arrow?
That episode, that series was pretty good. But you wonder, people wonder how come it's too hard to make time for God. It's too much for me to do to move time away for God. But I mean, you and me, we're usually up until 4 or 5 in the morning, anyways.
Well, because I work graves.
Well, you work graves. I just don't sleep, which is kind of sucks because as of right now, I have to be up in 8 hours, or I have to leave for work in 8 hours, and it's 1 o'clock in the morning right now. But yeah, it kind of boggles my mind, even with myself. I'm up doing things, but I never. It's kind of that mindset and that habit that we got, where we don't try to put more time in God. It's weird, right?
It comes down to it. It comes down to, do we really love God like we say we do?
Okay. So then, why don't we heed Why don't we heed the calling of God? Because if we don't, we're gonna miss it.
Sometimes we just don't want to.
I think it's a lack of confidence, honestly. Like me personally, when I'm at work and I don't think that it's gonna be a good sale that I'm gonna have, I kind of like, and then someone else starts helping them, and it's like a 20-item sale. I'm like, I could have had that.
Sometimes we just don't want to do stuff.
That's true.
Like, let's see. Say your family say, I want you to make this cake. And you say, I'm not going to do it. And they go, why? And you say, I don't want to.
Okay. Or, I've noticed with, like, me, they'll be like, hey, you should do this. I'm going to move this a little bit your way. They say, hey, you should do this. But then I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. I'm just going to take my hat off. I'll be like, yeah, I'll do it. And then 20 minutes later, hey, I thought you were supposed to do this. Like, how come you couldn't do this? But it's funny. Listen to this. This is funny. Matthew 26:40. Jesus told his disciples, or the word right now, the Bible says, and he cometh up to the disciples, and findeth them asleep, and said unto Peter, What could ye not watch with me 1 hour? So Jesus has to, and God has to shake us up and startle us. Ever notice when things are going good, we kind of fall off the track with God, but then something happens and God's like, come on! Ever notice that?
Why you have to get to that point?
Well, I mean, yeah. Is it? So I take it. It's the time for us to set a foundation of prayer. We need to get into that habit. We need to turn off the TV for 40 minutes. I mean, if we took tithe to the extreme into where it should be, 10% of everything. So if I gave God 10% of my day, that's 2.5 hours. 2.5 hours I should be praying. 2.5 hours I should be getting into my word. 2.5. How many TV shows is that? Nowadays it's like what, 2 or 3 shows?
When you watch TV, how many times do you go to the bathroom?
Well, it depends on the person. I go like maybe twice. It depends on how long I'm watching.
But when you read your word, how many times do you yarn?
Do I yawn? True. I feel, or how many times when you're reading your word, when you're getting into the word, how many times do you go to the bathroom? You go more than when you're watching TV or when you're watching a movie because you seem more interested in that one thing. I think it's a lack of interest going into one thing, which kind of, yeah, it's crazy.
Like I said before, we make it hard to serve God. We make it hard to live for God.
Yeah.
It's not the devil. We always blame the devil for everything. There's a joke. I don't know if anybody would get it. I told a long time ago that the devil was sitting outside the church one time, and a person walked by and said, "Hey, why you sitting out here on the steps?" And the devil said, "'Cause they're in there lying on me." And it's true. We blame the devil for everything. The Bible said that he tempts you. He puts stuff in your brain, but he don't make you do it. He just give you suggestions. He's like a dart. He throws darts.
So it's kind of like that saying, if your friends jumped off a cliff, would you too?
Yeah. And then you jump, and then you say, "Don't make me do it."
Yeah, and then you blame them. Well, they made me do it.
Yeah.
They were falling off the cliff already.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy, but and it takes me to a point in where when we're building that foundation with God, we can't be like the majority of men today, which is being lazy and selfish. Ever notice that nowadays there's more women working than there are men?
The men are in jail.
Well, other than that, men are at home playing their video games, doing whatever they want to do. I mean, if you love God, you would devote your time to Him, and that's kind of where we need to get that point. If you have a girlfriend and you want to be with her, you want to give her your time, right? So, I mean,
until a couple months rolled around, and you like, get out.
It was funny. I was watching this video, and it was like the beginning of a relationship versus like into the relationship, and like the girlfriend sneezed like really loud, and the boyfriend was like, "Well, bless you, babe," and then she went "Achoo!" and he was like, "Shut up!" Like, I don't know. I feel like where I want to be is I want to get in that puppy love stage with God. So I'm like all about Him, but I don't want to leave that stage. Because when I'm in that stage with God and I'm doing what He wants me to do and I'm flowing with His flow, He's going to take care of me. There's not going to be anything that I'm going to be worried about. Oh, I got this bill to pay. But because I give it and I do work for God, God's going to send that customer to me that's going to spend $1,000.
That's why I say seek Him first, my favorite scripture. The kingdom of God, His righteousness, and all these things will be added. If you put God number one, He'll put you number one.
So have both feet on the rock?
Yep. But if you put God second, He'll put you second. You put God last, He don't put you last.
Okay.
Yeah, but God number one first. And then He said, in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll direct your path.
Okay. It's funny that you just said that to you, make God number one. The next section that I have for the notes was give God your priorities and time. So make Him your priorities and give Him your time. It's crazy, right?
Put Him number one. And people, they go by messed up because they don't put God in it. They try to do it without Him.
Yeah, it's funny. There's a piece that he said where he said serving God isn't a lip service. It's a lifestyle. When you are out in the world, you are all about it, and when you live for God, you have to be all about it. So when you're out sinning and doing whatever it is that you're doing, like if you're out there having sex, you're all about that sex, right? You're just there trying to get what you came for. How come we can't be like that for God? I'm not saying having relationships with God is like having sex. In all honesty, having a relationship with God is better than that. But it's more like if you went to God, and with the mindset and the urge to get to know him, we would get to know him. If you wanted God like you wanted that girl at that party, you would try it so much harder and so much more to get to know God. All I gotta say.
Do we want to?
That's the thing. That's where we get into those certain mindsets where we're like, whatever.
I mean, how bad do we want him?
Well, I mean, that's where we gotta get into that point where we want God so much. We can't be like like a little kid with a new toy. If you've ever noticed like a kid that is like spoiled, when they get a new toy, they play with that toy for like a week and they're like, oh, I'm done. I want a new one.
Yep.
We can't be like that with God, and that's usually how we are as people. That's usually how we are with God. We'll be all about Him. And it was funny. I was actually listening to Lecrae. He was giving a teaching, and he said that you go to the gym, and you're all about that gym for a week, and then you're just there paying for it, and you never go or you never invest in it again. You're just there paying for it, just really losing your money. So like it's kind of like the Bible. There's so much in here, but I mean, we invest in it, we look at it, and this is a pretty Bible. Got my name on it. Okay, cool. I'm gonna put it down for another month. So it's like the gym. Like, how come when you go to the gym, you have a goal, right? You either want to get leaner, strong. You want to get lean, strong, and lean and fit are the same thing. But how come when we get in the Bible, it's like, How come we don't get into the Bible and get into our prayer closet with the mindset of making our spirit, our spirit man strong, healthy, and just all around better? If you ever look at someone that's in a bodybuilding, they never work out one set of their muscles all the time.
What?
They work everything so they're well-rounded, right? They want to keep everything in balance and keep everything symmetrical. How come we can't do that with our prayer life?
True.
So I'm just gonna pray. I'm just gonna pray, and I'll not read my Bible, or I'll just read my Bible. I'll just read my Bible, even though my Bible says to pray. I'm gonna not pray. I'm just gonna read the Bible.
How you gonna do one without the other?
Exactly. Exactly. And so a lot of us do that all the time.
Oh, I'm gonna read my word, but I ain't gonna. Then how you pray? How do people pray to God without Jesus? How that work?
Exactly. How can you have one without the other?
If I wanted you to come outside, who am I gonna talk to first? I'm gonna talk to you first, and then you gotta ask your dad permission. Can you go outside? Can you go outside? So what Jesus is, he's like that. To get to God, you gotta go to Jesus first,
Mm-hmm.
and then he gotta get permission. He asks the Father, and then when he asks the Father say, "Yeah, do that for him. Do it." That's why Jesus said, "Whatever you ask in my name, I'll do it." So when you pray, you gotta ask in Jesus' name. You can't just go to God. Hey, God, you forgetting Jesus?
Right? Yeah.
I can't just have a relationship with your dad. I gotta have a relationship with you. You
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. It's like this is one thing I noticed. Like at work, like in any workplace, if you want to get higher and get more favor, you gotta be buddy with a lot of people. Like whoever's above you. Like for me, I would have to be really good buddy, but like luckily and I'm blessed enough to be in a good relationship with my manager because I don't have an assistant manager. But if I wanted, like in some places, if I wanted to be real close with my manager, I'd have to be real close with the assistant manager. and I want a promotion, I would do things for the assistant manager and get good with him, and then those good deeds and those requests would be sent higher.
So you tell me you don't go straight to the big boss, you go to the
middleman.
Little boss first.
Yeah.
I'm not saying little boss, but you go to little boss first, and then he goes to the bigger boss.
Mm-hmm.
That's what Jesus fit. Jesus is like our attorney, and God's the judge. When you go to court, you don't just go to the judge and talk to him. You got to have what? An attorney.
Yeah, you got to have your lawyer.
So who's going to talk for you? Your attorney. And do you just go up to the judge, hey, judge, I'm innocent?
Well, unless you're stupid enough to not get an attorney.
So Jesus is our attorney. Ooh, hallelujah. He's our attorney.
Amen.
And when you go to him first, then we got the advantage because our judge, it's something when your attorney calls the judge dad.
Yeah.
That means we got a relationship with him. But you gotta go to the lawyer first, and then he goes to the judge and talks. Normally, 10 times out of 10, you get dismissed, or they find you guilty or innocent. But the bottom line, you go to the attorney first. You can't just go to the judge.
Yeah, and so like, it's weird because like you'll go to your attorney, and then you'll have the court, and then they'll have a break, and then the attorney goes separately with the judge and talks and gets the information that the judge wants to send back.
Yeah.
Amen. That is like Jesus. We got to go through Jesus. I mean, Jesus is morely like an open door, I would say, because you're going through him and it's going to God.
Well, to make it really more clear is Jesus is the door. That's
what I just said.
He say, I'm the door to the sheep. And when he say, whatever door he closes, can no man open. The door he open, can no man close it. Because Jesus is your door. He is it. He's right. Everything you need him to be. Wow. So why do we dumb as Christians? I ain't gonna lie. We dumb.
I can agree with that.
How you get the food, the food, everything, sit down, and you missing a fork?
True. That's funny. I kind back to like the analogy that I did for like the gym and like the guys that are building weights. I mean, you can do a lot of things and say that you serve God and do those things, but like prayer and the word is like your protein. If you're working out without protein, you're not gaining muscle. You're not getting healthy. You're just gonna hurt yourself in the long run. So with the Bible, with having a good word life and having a good prayer life, that feeds you. And the Bible's like a meal. You're hungry, and then the Bible supplies the food. It supplies the nutrients for you.
That's true. And then the Bible says you gotta be hungry and thirst after righteousness. Yeah. When you're hungry, nobody don't stop you from. When you're hungry, do you just eat a bag of chips? Would that do it? That's for us. No. You want a meal. You want to get full. So we gotta get hungry for God. We gotta get hungry.
Okay. So I'm gonna go to Psalm 63, and I'm gonna read a couple verses, but it's gonna be split verses. So I'm gonna read verse 1, and it says, "O God, thou art my God. Early will I seek thee, and listen, and my soul thirsteth for thee. My flesh longeth for thee in dry and thirsty land, where there is no water, or where no water is." And then if you go down to like verse 8, "My soul followeth hard for thee, thy right hand upholdeth me." So why can't we? David right here saying is, I follow you with all that I am. I'm giving you all that I am as we should. as we should give to God. We got to give it all to Him. And like you said, when we give it to Him, He holds us up. He takes care of us.
Well, I'm going to make a run. You guys finna talking to Jonathan?
Peace. You leaving? All right, you have a good one. All right, guys. I'm not alone yet. I'm alone now, so it's gonna be really loud. So yeah, this is an extremely awesome conversation that we were having. And Psalm 63. I don't believe I have anything out on it yet, but that'll be a different video. It's part, and I will give the full sermon on Are You Thirsty for God, parts 1 and 2. It's a split in our videos, but I will give you guys the full message, just so there's not much misconception and unclarity. But other than that, you guys have a great one. We'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for the support as of now. But you guys have a good one, and we'll see you. God bless.